From the streets to the industry. The scene, industry, and business. Audience versus influence. Exploring the importance of understanding each area and the differences between the sizes of an audience and how that may impact their synergy and influence. Traditionally in the music industry, which is where my background comes from, we will operate under a hierarchical structure. You may be able to relate depending on what situation or industry you participate in. The scene. The scene is comprised of the influencers. These are the people at the cutting edge of breaking news and information, the cutting trends, they know what's happening. But the problem with being in the scene is you are not monetized and you're not making any money. Where your influence is optimal, your reach is minimal. This feeds into the industry, but I'll start with in 2001, on a tower block in Tottenham, me and a group of friends of mine, much like most young Londoners at that time, were on a pirate radio station broadcasting the music that we now know as grime. Fast forward a few years, and in 2003, Dizzy Rascal signed to XL Recordings on a major label, and that, for me, was the birth of the grime industry. After 7 years of success, we saw a group of individuals have solo success in the mainstream industry. These are the likes of Kano, Chickmonk, who's also from Tottenham, Skepta, and Wiley. The problem with the hierarchical structure is right at the pinnacle of the hierarchical structure, you have the business. The traditional music business just didn't meet the needs of the grime scene. There wasn't any synergy between the business and the scene. So the industry collapsed. Through the advancements of social media and technology, and music technology, the entire hierarchical structure has been shattered. And it's left the music industry in a really precarious position with Spotify, iTunes, and I'm pretty sure you've seen celebrities talking about streaming and revenues dropping. I believe that this Venn diagram system is the future of the music industry and all industry. This is synergy. With synergy, each area is considered equal. No one area, person, or organization should take the lion's share of the profits or proceeds or lead the conversation. I always say if you leave a table that you've gone to negotiate at with your hands full, you've been duped. Something's happened. Understanding social media. Now, this leads to me about social media and the importance of how to use it. I'll start with understanding the difference between different social medias. With my background being artist management, traditionally I'm meeting artists at the start of their careers, and the first thing I need to do is figure out how to monetize an audience they have. This starts with identifying their audience. Now, statistically, artists or creatives that work in the literary areas, whether it's singer-songwriting or music production or something like that, they tend to do really well on platforms like Twitter, whereas artists that are performance-based tend to do a lot better on Instagram and Snapchat, where it's short, sharp, visual-based content. Looking at that, I give artists this advice. You are better off having 5 faithful followers than 50 unfaithful followers. Because at the end of the day, the optimal currency you're going to have in that synergy, where your voice will be heard and respected, is if you're able to monetize your content in the optimal position. This takes me to personal branding, personal perspectives and characteristics. And this is an engineer is an engineer. I'm going to tell you a story about me and my friend Jerome. So as I was progressing through the music industry, I built a studio and my friend Jerome wanted to get involved. In 2009, I signed a multi-tier distribution deal with a major record label and quickly looked about hiring staff. I couldn't look into the main employment pool because I just didn't have the money to pay £30,000, £40,000 a year. So I said, Jerome, what you need to do is you need to come and work with me. But as he was a failing student, unemployed, we needed to innovate our way out of that situation. We decided to look on the internet and see what opportunities were available. Now, knowing Jerome, we went to school together. I knew that he didn't like interacting with large groups, very isolated individual, and he liked to work alone. So I said to him, British Gas are offering £215 a week for an apprenticeship. It's not the engineering that we've been talking about, but it's enough money for you to pay for your studio time. What do you think? Thus, an engineer being an engineer. This goes to FOMO versus POMO. Now, FOMO, you may have heard this one, fear of missing out. And POMO is the position of maximum opportunity. Now, with Jerome's story, I feel like his fear of missing out put him in a position to go out and secure that apprenticeship for the £215 a week, which then was able to fund his passion. Artists do this all of the time. There's some of us that are in jobs that we don't want to do, and we have passions outside of it, and sometimes in completely different industries. And it's important to me, I think, that we take the understanding and the synergy of how being in, feeling like you're missing out has an impact on putting yourself in the right position. I'll rebuttal this by using Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga, we all know her as a featured artist at the forefront of what she's doing, but in the beginning, she started out writing songs for other people, thus putting herself in the position of maximum opportunity, so when the opportunity arose for her to take the charts, it was all there for her. Back to the scene, industry and business as a Venn diagram. Growing up in Tottenham, I grew up with a corporate parent and a, I guess, terrestrial parent or normal parent. And what I'm basically trying to say there is I grew up in social care, foster care, which means I was raised by the state, but I also had a guardian in the home. And I believe that through synergy, the public sector, the private sector, and us as residents have an equal voice. And the way that we can build this community and have all equal representation is if we all come together under more of a Venn diagram type community rather than a hierarchical one, to remove the us versus them conversation. A lot of my friends, to me, are unsung entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, the means that they have to go through in order to escape some of the obvious temptations that are out here and the legacy issues we have put them in a very precarious situation. But ultimately, if they could skills transfer those skills and processes into what they were doing, into something legal, they'd be perfect. There's a grime artist called J2K. He's from a group called R.O.A.D. R.O.A.D, the members of that include Wiley, Skepta, JME from Boy Better Know, and a wealth of other artists. They've had #1 albums and toured the UK. In 2014, J2K left R.O.A.D and started a company called Crep Protect. Now, creps is local slang for trainers. He moved from the music industry to the product industry. Using hydroponic technology, he designed and patented a product that would protect your trainers from dirt and scuffing. And in an interview on Not For The Radio, which is a platform where artists go in and speak on GRM Daily, he expressed that in the product and design world, where now Crep Protect is one of the market leaders globally for hydroponic technology for keeping shoe care clean. He said that the principles that he used to position his company in the place it was today were no different to the skills that he used as an MC to rise to the top ranks and join R.O.A.D. So in that, there comes the synergy. By bringing all facets of his interest, he was able to unlock potential in an area that he didn't even know he would find himself in. And I believe if we take a leaf out of that and put that in our community, as we're in Tottenham, which is the 8th most diverse place in the world, we will have the exact same thing. That's me, Teriy Keys.